Swearing from now.
Wow. Hello, everyone. Good evening and good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another industry professional session. I am so very pleased for this particular session. It's with the wonderful Terry Berland from Berland Casting in Los Angeles. Terry, you were with us before last year. I think some of you may have been on that call as well. And I know, Daniel, you also have a bunch of questions. But before we get to that, Terry, would you like to have a brief kind of, who are you? What do you do? How long have you been doing it? Type introduction.
I am a casting director. I'm known for casting commercials and voiceover, which includes commercials and animation. I do some independent films, but I'm really, my expertise is in the on-camera and voiceover commercial field. And I'm located in Los Angeles now. My background, I've been doing it forever. Right after I got out of school, I was living in New York City and started out as an assistant at a very large ad agency and worked my way up to being head of casting at BBDO, which at the time was the third largest in the world. And at that time, you just couldn't hang up a shield and say you're a casting director, or have a friend, throw you a casting job and say, oh, I'm a casting director. It was actually a job where you had to be promoted. And guess what? We didn't even have computers then or emails, obviously. So I've rolled with the punches, rode the wave all these years, and still thriving. And I'm happy to share any insights that I have to help you along your way so you feel more connected to the casting process.
That will be so useful. I know as actors, there's often this sense of just gleaning like an extra bit of information, regarding casting, regarding bookings, all this kind of thing. So I bet everyone's going to find this really useful, myself included. Daniel, you said you have a few.
Yeah. Well, should we go around the room at the beginning of the session, just so everyone can give a very brief, my name is, this is where I'm based, and this is one interesting thing about me, and this is my agent is, and this is one interesting thing about
I like that. It makes me feel more connected to us today. Okay. I like that.
I'm Daniel Dresner. I'm represented by the wonderful Danny Clifton at Union Management. And an interesting thing about me is that I'm going to be 60 in February, which is interesting in many ways. That's me. So next on my list, on my thing, is Zach.
Hello, Terry. My interesting thing is that I'm not Daniel Dresner, which would be infinitely more appetite.
Tried very hard, but you can
try very hard as I might. I'm Zach. I'm based in LA. I live in downtown. My commercial agent is Peter Kalanteris, so PKA or
love Peter.
Love Peter. So I've been with them for a while, and interesting fact about me is I've officially now cut off pieces of 3 different fingers on my left hand thanks to an accident the other night. So
what happened?
It was an orange peeler that it stuck, and then when I did that, it caught. So super glue has kept my fingers intact. I just glued them back on, and that's as much as you want to know about that.
All right,
swiftly moving on.
Yes, let's move on.
Janet.
Hi, Terry. I heard so much about you. I was in LA for 3 months just now, and your name kept cropping up. So
really?
I actually wrote you a piece, but somebody had told me to get in touch with you about Nick Mana, about the voiceover that you were doing. Who was working with you.
Oh, and it was sold out, right?
Yeah, and I think I wrote a message, and eventually I got in touch with him anyways.
She's frozen. She go all the way back from LA to Shoreditch in London, and she freezes here.
Yeah.
We'll come back to Janet. Jeremy.
Good evening. My name's Jeremy Vinogradov, and I hail originally from Australia, but I've been living in the UK for 25 years, and come from a career in opera singing to acting. And that is me. I am self-represented currently.
Thank you.
I really want to hear you sing, Jeremy.
Sorry?
I said, I really want to hear you sing now.
You ain't gonna get it. Not now.
Please.
I'll keep you waiting.
Well, opera takes acting for sure.
It does.
It does. Really connect.
I realized after some time in the transition that having thought that I, perhaps didn't bring so much with me, and I realized I bring a whole heap,
Yeah.
A heap,
Yeah.
So I'm pleased for that. Very pleased for that.
I'm sorry, I didn't turn my beeps, my buzzers off. You're gonna hear dings, my dings.
Ding.
I will try to do that as you're introducing yourselves.
Okay. I'm going to move over to Tammy.
Hi, Terry. Hi, everybody. Originally American. I came to London in 2020 via France. And I've been acting since the age of 7, doing a lot of things, but I specialize in voice work. And the interesting thing about me is I'm the voice of Louise Hay for Hay House Publications. And you can, yeah. I love that because it's all about healing. I'm also a shamanic therapist and a master energy healer. So it goes really well with me.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm not turning the dings off because then I'm not listening to you. So.
Okay. And thank you very much for tonight.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tammy. Claire.
Hi, Terry. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. I'm Claire Burrows, currently self-represented, but will be getting an agent on my headshots very shortly. I used to be a dancer, and I'm redirecting my focus towards acting and loving it. So just trying to work as hard as I can and get as much experience as I can. Thank you. Thanks for tonight.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Claire. Liz? Muted.
Oh. Hi, Terry. So I'm Liz Mann. I'm based just outside London in Guildford. And I do have an agent, but I am thinking I need to be changing. And I guess the interesting thing about me could be that I'm recording some meditations for a relaxation app that's going to be launched soon. And I do reflexology. So, that's me.
Well, you and Tammy should get together.
I thought that we just did Danny's self-tape course together, which was absolutely wonderful. And I still need to do your thing, Danny, a video for you to promote it. But and when we met then, and I thought, oh, how lovely. That's, really nice. So, thank you for doing this tonight.
You're welcome.
Indy.
Hi, Terry. Thank you for today. Really appreciate it. Yeah, my name's Indy. I'm actually new to the acting industry. So I'm just finding my feet where I'm going to put my coat on the hanger, as they say. But yeah, interesting fact about me, I actually wrote, produced and directed a short film called Denial, and it went off into the film festivals. So getting some really great feedback, and currently just in situ of working on another project. And we'll see where we go.
Great attitude.
Lovely. Georgie. Hello, Georgie.
Hello, I'm so sorry I'm late. I couldn't find the login details. Hi, I'm Georgie. Nice to meet you. I am represented by Dub International, which is exciting, as they're my new agent. And an interesting fact about me, location, I am just outside of London. I'm in a place called Stevenage. And interesting fact about me is I've just had my 4th radio play produced.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm writing, which is why I keep looking away, by the way.
Very nice.
So Georgie, Terry does a voiceover casting as well. So what was the thing job you did last week?
Amazing. Yeah, it's a production called Souls. It was a German production, which we dubbed into English. It's for Sky TV. So yeah, I was playing a part of Matilda. So yeah, it was great. It was my first dubbing, but I've done quite a lot of voiceover bits and bobs. But yeah, it was great. Really great experience. Loved it.
Thank you.
No worries. Nice to meet you.
Or as it might say, Bernard.
I'm Bernard O'Sullivan. Hello, Terry. I live in London, have done all my life, long life. I come to acting from a long career as a trial lawyer, which may be an interesting fact, but at any rate, it's a fact. And earlier this year, I had the great joy of being heard on Radio 4 for the first time in my life, playing various roles, including an English army chaplain and Victor Hugo, the French writer. So that was enormous fun.
Nice.
That's about it.
Nice.
Bernard is
I'm represented by Danny Clifton and his team too. Yes.
Are those real books behind you, or is that a...
They're all real. I didn't buy them by the yard either. And I've thrown a lot away. So that's what I've got remaining. Yeah.
Wait, you didn't throw books away. I'm sure you gave them away.
They went
Donated them.
What you call thrift shops, largely. Okay. Yes. No, none found their way into the refuse. Some had been read.
My one particularly, of course.
Many times.
Yeah,
Still trying to make sense of it.
Thank you very much. Yes, but maybe if you did, then your career would be further on, Bernard. But let's move on. Touche. Zaf, who is actually Francisca. Hello, you're on.
Yeah, hi. Zaf is actually my daughter's name. Hi, Terry. Thank you so much for being here tonight. My name is Francisca Steiner. I'm half Swiss German, half West African French, and I grew up in Africa, Switzerland, and London. I started actually acting the best way to learn English very quick, and I just loved it. I graduated from drama school in 2004, tried for a couple of years, and then got pregnant and did interior design. So I've been back into acting since I think February. Really want to fully go to it, but in the meantime, I've still done some stuff, and I really missed it. And I just joined a local theatre. And it was really good after 5 years, to be on stage again on Sunday. I really love it. And just being there and being confident, yeah, that's it.
You can change your name on just go to 3 dots. And if you can put your first name on, that would help. Thank you.
Yeah, I would definitely. I think my daughter actually, my name was there before, but I think she kind of changed. She loves to have my
now for this.
Okay, cool. We'll do.
Stephanie said her camera is kaput.
Welcome anyway, Stephanie. Sorry. Bummer.
Oh, can we hear you? We can't hear you either. Stephanie, no. Okay. So that's us, Terry, and that's you as well. Should I want to ask a question from you. If anyone has questions, please feel free to stick your hand up and join in. But you mentioned before about, rolling with the punches over the years. And I was interested, on your website, you say that your teaching evolves with current trends. And I was just wondering, because the industry changes a lot recently, what have you seen shifting in a last period of time? What should we be aware of?
Well, for quite a number of years, the roles in commercials became more raw and real. How people, their point of view, attitudes, and looks. And it's extremely so now. So I'd say that's, and so my teaching has evolved to an exciting point of, it's not about the words that you're saying. Who are you saying these words? Like how, what you have to do when you guys are to be successful in a commercial is kind of, you have to be someone in particular saying these words. So yeah, there are rules, you know, you have to follow, like, you know, am I frustrated? Am I really bright? Am I positive? All those hints that they're giving you or direction they're giving you. But the main thing is, who are you saying these words? So, and it's a real shift. And that's when you become really, really successful. And so comfortable that when you walk in a room, even if it's a Zoom room, there's someone authentic that has layers of, that has a life that we're feeling.
I always say that commercial auditions, commercial self-tapes, is, you know, it's like a mini film. It's a definite skill in itself, and you're putting together these nuanced performances in a very, very, very short space of time, right?
Yeah, I approach it as a short scene. Everything that you would put into a short scene, even if it's just 4 words you have in a film, you have to know who you are, what time of day it is, what your attitudes are. You know, yeah, like Danny said, look at it. Those of you who are more comfortable and familiar with film or television, it's pretty obvious to you that they're not casting you because you said the words right. Then they're casting you because you're a character that fulfills this role. And it's the same thing for commercials. And it's very hard to comprehend that when they're not words that you would ordinarily say, if you even have words at all, you know, and there's usually a mention of a product. So, or sometimes, but you have to not approach it that way.
Which sort of makes, you know, you mentioned, you didn't mention the phrase real people as such, but we've, you know, it must be 20 years now, I think I've been hearing about real people, casting real people, and almost every actor I've spoken to has said, what do they mean by real people? So what do you mean by real people?
Yeah, they don't even use, here in LA, they don't even use that phrase anymore. It's so taken for granted. What I mean by real is acting authentic, that we feel your personality, we feel your point of view, who you are saying these words, and that you seem like an everyday person, not an actor presenting anything.
So in a way, it's about the comfort that when one walks into the room or is doing the tape, it's about the level of comfort one has with oneself, and it just happens that you're talking about the product as well. Is that what you mean by authentic?
Yeah, like if just say you're frustrated with humor. Just say that's what you decide this particular commercial, the role that you're playing calls for. So you have to kind of not do the words frustrated with humor, because that's acting, that's a performance, but you have to authentically be, and you're all different. How would you be frustrated with humor? So it's kind of just taking steps and standing in a different position.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I get, what you're saying as well, is how each one of us on this Zoom call would do frustrated with humor totally different. And it's not a case of what, asking you how you want us to do it. You want us to do what we would do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a film. Would you go into a film audition and or prepare for a film audition? Hopefully not, and say, how would they want me to do this? No, you have to make choices as an actor. And then they see, or the casting director sees, oh yeah, that works. That's interesting. And if you could see what we see, we could have 50 people all doing it great, but just a little different.
Yeah. I think there's a fear, Terry, that people are afraid that they're going to make the wrong choice.
You have to make a choice, and you can't be neutral. You have to play in the right ballpark, but you can't be neutral. And I'll tell you a little story. I have a friend who coaches celebrities. Now, she doesn't coach them to learn how to act. I mean celebrities, like the highest celebrity you could think of, grossing celebrities you can think of. And when they're in a film, or when they're, or not that high, someone who, for instance, has a TV presence. This particular story is about someone who has a TV presence and was going for a role for a new TV series. So they come to acting coaches such as her, not to learn how to act, but what should my approach be? How do I approach this? What should my choices be? And my friend made a very bold choice for this person. And we were having dinner that night, and she said to me, I'm really nervous. Like, I know this was a bold choice. I told her to do it this way. She helps them self-tape. And I'm nervous that maybe I didn't make the right choice, but it was the only choice I felt that was right. So I'm just telling you this story because no one really knows, because there isn't one right choice.
Yeah. And I think it's it's interesting, because even when you get to the levels of experience that you're talking about, there's still some doubt as to whether was I right or wrong, or a bit of right or a bit of wrong.
Yeah, I think though you can leave all that behind when you really know how to approach a script, whether it be film or commercial, and know what the scene is all about, know what it's calling for in the character, and then be that character and focus in on that. And you're just like working in a zone that you created. And if you're really truly in that creation zone, you won't be worried about what do they want. They don't know what they want.
They don't know what they want.
Which doesn't mean that they're confused or stupid or not knowledgeable.
I can see Jeremy.
Sorry. Can I just ask you then?
Oh wait, can I just add something before I forget? So I was casting a lot of short films, and here's the thing: at the end of the day, almost every time we cast, for the main character and a supporting character, at the end of the casting day, I would have a long discussion with the director, and he loved like 3 people for the main character and 3 people for the supporting character. And they all had different nuances, and they were all great. But he had to decide which feel does he want from this film. So if the supporting character has this feel, the film in relationship to the main character, the film goes this way. This other person had this kind of feel, which was great, but the film's going to go this way. And then a third one, which way did he want the film to go? Okay. Jeremy, I'm sorry.
Yes. No problem. I'm just curious then, you as you say, you make a choice. You can and you respect people that present to you, that make a choice. And does that mean also that you can see if it's the wrong choice for how you, for whatever it is that you're cast, is that an opening for you to say sometimes, hey, have you thought about doing it differently? But that showed initiative, so
Yeah.
you can.
Well, here I happen to love now first self-tapings.
Yeah.
It feels now uncivilized to have, for commercials, we used to have sometimes 175 people in one day if there was lots of roles and different ethnicities and different age ranges. And we would, put you four at a time, queue you up outside the room, get you ready to go in, get you in the room, have you do your thing quickly but efficiently, come out of the room, bring the next four people in. It doesn't feel civilized anymore. So I don't like that anymore. And I don't think it's, for commercials, ever going to go back to mainly first calls being coming in person. But having said that, the advantage is it's so easy for the session director say, no, change it a little bit this way. Like you're not quite positive enough, and you change it during a quick rehearsal period, and that's how you're filmed. And you don't have that anymore. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to, I mentioned the ballpark that you're playing in. You have to be in the right ballpark. If the person is supposed to have a little humor to the situation, but your first audition does not have a little humorous skew to the way you look at life, just say, and you feel like it's a big, heavy problem, no, you're going to be put aside, and the ones who made the right choice are going to go to the next level. So it's an issue.
Zach, did you put your hand up there?
Yeah, I did. Terry, I'm kind of curious in the dynamic of with uploading self-tapes, right? We do different clips, right? So, if they want a variation, we'll do a second one. Right. Usually that second one will be very bold. It will just be a very different, very interesting choice. Do you prefer, because time is limited, right? Like, I'll be realistic. If you see the first one, you're like, I'm not going to bother looking at the second one. Like, it's not the look, it's not whatever. Do you prefer a more traditional interest, who you are in the first take and something different on the second? Or do you like seeing the like come out of the box swinging on the first one? I'm just curious. There's probably preference, but
they should both be who you are, by the way.
Agreed.
And I would say, and the first one, even though it's not as big as the second one, should not be neutral. And the only time you can really make such a difference in the two reads is if it's a bigger kind of situation, which is usually comedy. Otherwise, it's very nuanced.
So if I guess that's more my question, because sometimes there's not much to do. I just had one where it was literally you're in a huddle to get ready for a thing. And I'm like, I'm by myself. There's only so much you can do here. So what's a second variation of that? So I think that's more my question of, is the nuance something that you're paying attention to in the second one, or do you like it just a completely different
take? If it's that kind of thing, first of all, they're looking for a look.
Yeah.
And they're looking for a comfort level. So both of them, obviously you have the look, you can't change your look. And hopefully you're comfortable, so you have a comfort level in both. The thing about those kind of things, you don't want to do, you want to add a little to what they've asked you to do. So you're in a huddle, and what's happening in that huddle?
For this one, it was somebody's getting ready to go out on stage, so a musician.
And you're huddling for what reason?
It's a great question. I think it was more of like a pregame huddle before they, all go on to the. Yeah.
So definitely you shouldn't just be in the huddle and go, okay, guys, let's make this the greatest show. Maybe you add a little something like, here, come over here. And then, okay, guys, you know what I mean? Like create a little bit more of an environment to add to the face value of what they've asked you to do.
Can I join in on this? Because
yeah, definitely. I want to improv a bit.
Yeah, it strikes me that you see like still plenty, and they're not in person, but you'll see 50 tapes come through for one character or one for something. But the thing that pops out, it must be, it must be a struggle sometimes to keep awake, I would imagine. So there must be something that will pop out above the rest. So in your experience, if you can you think of a couple of examples when something like that's happened?
Well, first of all, being so connected, likable, involved, connected, and comfort. Other than that, there's no tricks that's going to make you pop out. I would say the biggest pop for what we're talking about is what I already said, rather than just, for instance, if you would approach this where you're in the huddle, okay, guys, whatever you're saying, add a little before or a little after, like maybe you're done with the huddle, like, all right, we're ready to go. Come on, guys. You know what I mean? Like expand on it a teeny weeny bit.
So bookend it with personality.
Yeah.
And would that be if you're doing 2 takes of that, as Zach was talking about, would that be your first take or definitely the second one?
You're being too serious about this stuff, guys, and you're being too analytical.
Okay.
Hopefully you feel like a musician. Hopefully you feel connected with your other musicians. Hopefully you feel jazzed about the, and buzzed about what you're about to do, and you just roll with it. Otherwise, you can't pick this apart. It's not so serious.
In terms of,
I hate the expression, but it's the first thing I'm coming up with is have fun with it. I hate that expression, but it's true.
I was going to talk to you a little bit, Terry, about the notice as well, like in terms of casting notices that, we get from the producers. It's often a very quick turnaround, right? It's often literally about a day. Yeah, exactly. So in terms of, getting all your stuff and kind of having a turnaround of maybe 2 days, maybe even a day sometimes.
That's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any advice for actors that kind of, that have a very short turnaround and anything like that?
I do, because actually once on Clubhouse, I was listening to a group talking, and they were very advanced actors, and they were talking about the problem they have because they get so many auditions that are very important, and they have to start making a choice, like which ones they're gonna not do, because they can't. There's just, there are pockets of times that you have a lot, and of course pockets of times that you have nothing, and you're wondering, am I still a working actor? We go through that with casting directors too. In my classes, the actors have shared that there's an app. In fact, I need to put it on myself of where instead of memorizing, of course, you have to become very, very familiar with each script. But instead of memorizing it, there's a teleprompter app that you can put on your phone. So I would say if you use that, that could take, eliminate a lot of time memorizing or getting to know it very well. And other than that, if you do get into the situation where there's an amount of time that you get too many, hopefully you have one agent, who knows the volume that you've just received, and you can, email them a little note. Like, it's not possible for me to do a good job on all of these. I'm going to not do this one. Hopefully you have a relationship like that with your agent. Of course, your agent wants you to do everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. And by the way, if anyone has any other questions for Terry, anything they want to, any clarity, just put your hand up. I've got everyone on gallery view. So yeah. You've always had a wonderful reputation, Terry, of being very approachable, and through your workshops that I've taken, through your courses and everything, in terms of being contacted directly by actors, by us, with our updated materials. Where do you stand on that?
It's really interesting. I do have an email, info@Berland Casting, where you can communicate with me. And it wouldn't be possible for me to answer you. And I would start feeling that you're very needy if I heard from you too much. Actors seem to know that and sense that, because I don't get a lot of marketing. I certainly get things when they're in a show, when they've just booked something. Also, I have an Instagram. I have Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I see a lot on my Instagram. And so certainly when you're doing anything, and it's Berland Casting is the Instagram, not Terry Berland. So you can follow me on that, and then I can see stuff that you're doing. And I really become familiar with actors that way. So I hope that answered that.
Daniel, do you have anything else?
I've got loads. Which I want to go back a little bit, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes ago. I wrote down a question. We were talking about the casting scenario coming in and doing your bit and leaving. And it made me think about the difference between castings for commercials and other media, and or mediums, whatever. And I was thinking, it made me think about the product, how the product is, how much of a product, how much of a character within the setup is the product? Because clearly it's the most important one. But so can you talk to that at all?
Yeah, well, you can sound silly. So there are ways, for instance, if you're holding a product, just say, I'm holding this. You want to hold it. You don't want to hold it in a silly way, like putting it near your face is silly. Out like that is silly. The best thing is to just, for instance, lightly have your arm next to your body, hold it comfortably, and then every once in a while, if you glance at it as you're saying the copy, whoa, without a silly way, it showcases the product and it makes you look brilliant because you're not stiff anymore. You've looked at it. So that's one way to handle a product, how you hold it, if you look at it to acknowledge it. It would be like if you're standing next to another actor and you, or you're in a scene with another actor and you never at any point glanced over at the actor, there's no relationship. So you want to create a relationship between you and the product. And then the copy should make it pretty clear whether it's just a mention or this is old fashioned, holding it up like this, never looking at it. It's just not done anymore.
Nice. Dan.
No, I was just going to say what's coming across for me, Terry, and I've kind of know this anyway, but it's a really good reminder. You talked about relationship, you talked about connection, and this is like, as you said, it's just a series of mini small scenes, sort of commercial, a voice audition, anything like this. And it's just having that relationship between, for example, two people or someone and an object, but just having that connection as well. So it's really important for us, to remember that.
Even in voiceover, when they mention the name of the product, like, how do you highlight that? Like, it wouldn't be right to punch it out or punch it up, but you just sort of lilt it, and then there are transitions in voiceover. And so it is something to reckon with, whether it be on camera or commercials. And, you shouldn't be doing the on camera like it's the finished product. This is an audition, and auditions are definitely different than how they shoot it. Just the fact that on camera for commercial, the camera and how we look into it is a relationship, but certainly when it's the commercial shot, you're not looking directly into that camera. They have different cameras at different angles capturing you. So it is very different. So I would say that's another hint for you, or another nugget. Don't audition like it's the final production. Because in the final production, they'll have maybe cut-ins of the product, and that's how they sell the product. So, and then unless it's one spokesman talking about this product, that's different. Yeah. So
something just popped up because I know you do. You said you do voiceovers as well. And it seems to be that the audition process is different with voiceover than with on-camera commercials, obviously. But my question is about the experience of the actor. So, because I know a lot of people on this call now do voiceovers, myself included. I've got a little setup here, all the rest of it. But what I've learned over the years is that when you think, oh, I can do voiceovers, and you do it. Yeah. And I'm just, in your experience, the differences between somebody who's just picked up and done it for the first time and somebody who's been doing it a while. I'm not sure it's an easy question, to be honest, but I still want to know.
You mean, can we tell the difference?
Yeah, and how?
Oh, yes, we can tell the difference, and it's a comfort level. When I teach voiceovers, you learn the basic foundation, then you learn and the technique, and then you start. The end result is that you want to step up to that mic beyond technique. You want to embrace it. So, like, I've developed a branding process where, and I'm in charge when we teach. I teach with someone else, and I do the branding part of it. And it's a process. And the main goal, and we always hit the goal, is that you want to step up to the mic beyond technique. You want to embrace your read. the way that I look at voiceover, the way that I've interpreted, and I can put it in my own words, is the client, the people who are producing this, there's an emotional message to this spot. And by the time it gets to casting the voice, you are the sound of your voice has an emotional message. So you have to understand that. And you're being cast to top off, to finish off the emotional message of this spot. So, yeah, it's a comfort level. You can just feel it. You can smell it. You just know it.
Yeah. You know, and also my kids, we play at home, we play this game, would you rather, would you rather have this or this? And it sometimes gets ridiculous and all the rest of it. But I'm going to play that slightly with you now. Would you rather have a voice that was technically, they're the right distance from the mic and everything's technically sounds good, but wasn't quite what you were looking for? Or would you rather have something that sounds like the right voice, but they just don't get the relationship with the microphone?
Well, that's interesting, because one of the things that I teach is that your microphone, like if this is the mic, there is a relationship with the mic, whether you work towards it, whether you work into it, or whether you work beyond it. And this is kind of complex, my answer. I hope I don't lose my, whether you need to hand in an audition that sounds good. And that's not hard to get, by the way, the right mic for not a lot of money and the right soundproofing. So that part of the answer is it has to sound good quality, because when I'm listening to all the submissions that come in, if it's not good quality, and sometimes actors just, I don't know whether they forget or sometimes it doesn't work, but they don't normalize their read. So the read is like this, I can't hear it, even when I put it up to the highest. So sometimes I have time, I'll quickly email the agent and say, hey, listen to what so-and-so, what they handed in. Can you have them redo it and normalize it? But I don't always have time for that. So your question kind of is, my goodness, by the time you start sending in auditions, you better make sure that you have a good sound. And it really surprised me, because I was just yesterday, in fact, we haven't even booked the person yet. Oh, we just booked them yesterday. Usually there aren't callbacks for voiceovers. In this one, there was a self callback. They gave the three actors longer scripts than the first one to do. And then they had these three people, and I had to prepare a folder and send them the new reads. And then it really surprised me, because the producer emailed me back and said the quality of the callback of this one person with the longer script wasn't quite sharp enough. Can I please redo the folder presentation, take out the new one and put in the original one that was the shorter one, because the quality was better? And that surprised me, actually. And it was so, she sent me 2 takes of the callback. One was the original, and then an edited one. The original, I don't know what she did. It was a horrible quality. And I guess technically she cleaned it up. So of course I sent the better quality, and I thought it sounded good, but the clients heard through that, my clients, And they said, the quality's not that good. And I thought that was fascinating, that, oh my God, like their quality here is mattering to them. It's why?
Yeah, that's an interesting one as well, because I know, again, having done quite a lot of commercials, that we are always being directed by 20 people on a set sometimes, with the agency, the client, everybody, and everybody's got to say something, and it's really, the worst thing you can ask is, why are they saying that? You just got to just roll with it and say
that brings up a very interesting point. And it really came out before COVID, when I would have people come to my audition studio in my office. And, I would have high six-figure producing talent in. And I was one of the first casting directors to direct people as very, very real, being very, very real. Like, I don't get jobs, with announcers. They can just send that to the agents, and whatever they get, they get. And I would direct these, working actors to be more real. And so many times they say to me, but Terry, they're not going to end up that way. And I said, I know, but this is what they want from the audition. And so, Daniel, you're very right. The audition is different if you're being directed that way. And once you go into the studio, I would say 92% of the time, it's much more polished than what they wanted out of the audition, because of all that back and forth and input. And yeah.
Does anybody have anything you want to check in with Terry about? Any other points, any other clarity on anything? Jeremy, hi.
Hi again. Actually, this goes back way back to your opening comments, Terry. And I was curious when you talked about, Daniel, of course, mentioned, rolling with the punches. And you said, rolling with the punches, you said back in the day, and it was like you were referring to a shift in who are casting directors and what's acceptable now. People, sort of more traditional type versus the newer type or something. Do you know what I'm referring to?
Yes, but I know what you're referring to, but what is your question?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to expand what you are up against now with what's happened with casting directors. That you were commenting on there.
Thank you for asking that, because you can never know until you work in a casting office the stresses that we're under and what we're up against. So as much as you're trying to get, known as actors, like, we have pressures from our clients. What are we up against? Well, for voiceover, it's blatant, we don't direct you in the beginning, lack of time, less time than we used to have. There's no time, for a casting session where we listen to your voice and then we say, yeah, come, you'd be to the agent. This was the process we used to do. This one would be good. Yes, have them read. Then you come to our office, blah, blah, blah. Right now, I give my direction to the agents, and everything has to be interpreted. And then you give me the reads, and then I go through them and decide who the client should get. I used, even after this, right when this started, I used to give 50, 60 reads, and now my clients won't tolerate that. They only want 25, for instance. And that makes me feel really, really badly, because I never wanted to have such influence. Like I like giving actors chance, and it kind of depressed me. So I had to look at it a different way to keep doing this, thinking, okay, well, the actors still have a chance, but you know, it goes through me. So that's a big change. And then the on camera, like I said, it's a two-edged sword. I like the change. We used to be so nervous and anxious. Just imagine, we had to do the math for how many roles we could cast in one day, how many people in each role, in each ethnicity, give those appointments out. Each appointment was so precious. And now it's not. I can take more chances. You know, and as casting directors, we're under pressure because we have no dress rehearsals. We're given, they give us casting, which is why you get it so late at the very last minute. We have like, they show us their schedule. This is your prep time. This is when we need everything back. This is when we're going to give you the choices. This is when we want the callbacks. This is when the booking is. We have to come through for them. No question about it. If we don't, we're out. We're ousted.
And finally, just to add on, Terry, you know, I know that as much as actors audition for roles, also casting do as well. Like it's, you know, it's easy to forget that actors aren't the only person that have to audition.
I want to add to that, Dan, because I think it's essential. I think it's really essential. I think it's essential as well that they recognize about agents as well. I know that agents put a lot of work into developing, you know, developing their clients, but also, you know, looking long term for clients' future. And it's the same thing with the casting directors, developing relationships with agents and with actors, and on the other side with producers and agencies and all the rest of it. And I think that the sooner that we all, or the easier that we all accept our roles in all of this, the easier it is, and that we know that, you know, we see you as a human being, Terry, who's not the gatekeeper as such, who's got the staff and the you know, the shield and the, you know, the uniform on. You know, we you know, without you, you know, without Danny, without you, without us, you know, there's just a blank screen.
I love ending on this note because we all have to be a team. Casting directors are nothing without good actors. So all you can do is be the best that you can do. I'm impressed that people are constantly in a theatrical acting class because, you know, that way every week they're working on their craft, and that's work in itself. You are a working actor if you're taking classes. You are a working actor if you're auditioning. That is your work to audition. And then you book here and there. But your work, what is your work as an actor? Your work is to, you know, get auditions and audition. That's your everyday work.
Mute. What a beautiful line to end on. What a beautiful line to end on. And
especially as we run a school.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you for taking part in your questions. Terry, thank you so much. It's been absolutely wonderful and informative. Really appreciate your time as well.
Thank you for me. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
And Danny, I hope to see you in Atlanta.
You will. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Hi, Liz.
Go on, leave. How can we talk about you if you're still there?
I just hold on. Oh, there you go.
All right, all right, nice, good.
Well, there we are. Oh, hold on, stop record. Whoops.